This is only the 18th time I've had to do this video, so what could go wrong? Hey friends, it's your good friend Tim Campbell-Smith, and today we are talking about where to find scholarship money. Ironically, now that I've worked in marketing, I realize companies that provide scholarships are terrible at advertising. The money is out there. Everything a guidance counselor has ever said to me was accurate. It's just that those companies are usually pretty bad at marketing and advertising their scholarships, so we have to go and hunt for them. In this video, we're going to cover a bunch of different avenues for where you may go and find scholarships. I'm not going to provide exact answers or details. That would be way too hard and way too broad for a global audience. I kind of know how to do this in Ontario and Canada, but not really other provinces and definitely not other countries. But these are avenues that anybody could pursue to find scholarship money. Before we go too far, make sure you like and subscribe for all things higher ed, business, mental health, and life. So there are 4 general avenues where you may find scholarship money. You can look at your school, you can go to banks, you can look at scholarship platforms, or you can look at government agencies. And we're going to break down all 4 of those. So let's start with schools. Schools will typically offer this at either or both through their financial aid area. So you might go to the website or you might go, in office to financial aid, and they can point you towards scholarships or bursaries, or they will have a separate platform for scholarships and bursaries. For example, when I was looking at Mohawk College, on their financial aid website, they have a section just for scholarships. But then they also have a separate platform with just all the different scholarships and bursaries. So there is kind of that combination there. I find it's easiest to start at the financial aid website and go from there. Now, you become eligible for these by going to that school. If you don't go to that school, I don't think I've ever seen a scholarship or bursary that you could get from that school while going to another school. These will be specific to, and now I'm just going to confuse you a little bit because the other term I want to use is school, but I really mean a department. So first thing they're looking at is your department. So for example, we have the University of Guelph, but within the University of Guelph, we have the Lang School of Business. We have the School of Arts and Sciences. We have the School of Engineering, the School of Agriculture. So it depends on your school or your department. They're going to look at that. Within that, they're also going to look at your program. Some programs have more, some have less scholarship programs and opportunities. And then they're going to look at your demographic as well. So like, are you a mature student? Are you just incoming from high school and young? Are there any other, we call them protected classes that they're looking at that they're going to offer you? With schools, though, I want you to also check for and consider automatic scholarships and bursaries. There are some that you don't really have to think about that you become automatically eligible for, and some where you have to put in like a little bit of work. So, for example, if you're coming from high school, you become automatically eligible for a lot more actually, and then you're automatically eligible based on your grade point average going into that school. There's also in-course or in-program or in-department scholarships and bursaries. So I knew of one department where they offered, I believe it was like 5 awards every year for each year. So whoever, the top 5 students with the highest grade point average for first years, and for second year, third year, obviously not for fourth year. So those were automatic, you didn't really have to consider them. But with those, and when it comes to scholarships and applications administered through your school, look at the windows. They have pretty standard windows of when they open and when they close, usually a few months before the semester. So if your semester starts in September, we typically want to look for the school-based ones in June, July, August, maybe on the later end. For semesters that start in January, we typically look October, November kind of area. So look at the windows of when your school-based scholarships or applications open and close. Next, let's talk about scholarship platforms. There are a bunch of different websites whose sole purpose is to point to other scholarships. These are fantastic and great sources, and some are a little bit more credible than others. There is one big problem, though, and I have a tip for you to navigate this. A lot of those scholarships that go on those websites are just large amalgamations. They come from AI, and they get pulled from computer programming, and they may not always be accurate. So you want to check that whatever scholarship they're promoting on that platform is accurate. Here's what I do, though. Put in the filters, and scholarship websites, what I love about them and using them is they get real specific about what you are and are not eligible for. Put in all your filters, like where you're going to school, what you're studying, your age, any special considerations. Then get the list of names of scholarships that you may be eligible for and just Google search those. Go to the original organizations that are putting on those scholarships and apply directly there. That way you know they're accurate, they're legit, and they're there. Next, and this may be surprising, banks. Banks typically and credit unions typically offer scholarships and bursaries. Look at those. They're typically looking at your age, your demographics, and then a combination of academic performance and like volunteer experience, work experience, and life story. Typically because, let's be honest, and if there's anything I've learned in marketing, it's that they're just looking for like a feel-good marketing story. They're looking for that story. So they typically don't really care about like location, where you're coming from, where you're studying. They just want to look at like your academic performance, those kind of things. Look at those scholarships and bursaries through banks. But a word of caution as well from a story that I heard from someone, and now I'm like, ooh, I would watch out for that. And it makes sense that they would do this. Sometimes scholarships and bursaries get tied to a product that they are trying to sell. So this friend of mine got a $5,000 scholarship, but then also got a $5,000 line of credit. Lines of credit, come with a bit of an interest rate. It's a product that they're trying to sell. So be careful touching the line of credit. Focus on the scholarship or the bursary if the bank does offer you that. Finally, are government agencies. So there's a few different types of government agencies you may look for. One, almost every government that I know or have heard of offers some kind of just direct administration of funds for people to study at school. So in Ontario, we have OSAP. It's called I believe that stands for the Ontario Student Assistance Plan. OSAP will help pay for school. So you can apply directly to OSAP to get money. And then they break it down. Some of it is a loan, some of it is a bursary, some of it is considered like a scholarship. So, make sure to look at the breakdown there directly from a government agency. But then the two other government agencies I would say you should go to, your member of parliament, that's federal, and your member of provincial parliament, that's provincial. These act like centers of influence, kind of like scholarship platforms, where they know a lot of like where the money is. Fun fact, people don't realize that you can call your MP, MPP, and just ask them to help you navigate the government with whatever you need. So you can call them and say, hey, I'm going into first year, I'm studying this program at this school. Do you know where there may be any federal or provincial bursaries or scholarships? And they will just connect you with those resources. All of this to say, there's a reason that I refer to it as scholarship hunting. It is hunting. You have to go look for it. You have to work for it. You're going to have some hits and some misses.
Probably more misses than hits.
But the money is out there. So consider looking at banks, talking to government agencies, going to the scholarship platforms, and looking at what your school automatically offers. Comment and let me know, what are other avenues or places where you may go and find scholarships? As always, make sure you like and subscribe for all things higher ed, business, mental health, and life. And otherwise, we'll chat soon. Bye for now.